Followed much the same routine when he came here to Washington, D.C., and Seattle and New York, doing an interview prior to actually arriving in the United States. Same holds true for the U.K.
Very much so. It seems to really be a way to lay a foundation for a conversation. It also, of course, lets President Xi set the tone for the visit to the UK, much like his visit to the United States. Last time, he addressed global concerns about the health of the Chinese economy. In this interview with Reuters, he said he was concerned about those problems and how the global economy impacts China. Said he's working to address them. He was also asked if China would reach its 7% GDP growth target for the year. He said, we did it in the first half of the year, but, quote, it is normal that an economy may grow at different speeds in different periods, I should say. Now, for perspective, the UK's growth has been less than 1% each quarter this year. So obviously 6.9%, 6.8%, those are big target numbers for growth. There's also a real focus on this visit on deepening financial service cooperation between China and the United Kingdom. The Chinese have invested nearly $14 billion in the UK since 2000, most of it in financial services. And London wants to become the trade hub for the yuan. The UK is actually the first place outside of China and Hong Kong which is issuing debt from the People's Bank of China and the Finance Ministry. President Xi seems pretty keen himself to deepen Sino-British economic ties. Here's what he told Reuters, quote, when conditions are in place, China is ready to consider strengthening the connectivity of the financial markets of the two countries. London can leverage its unique strengths in the financial field to get actively involved in the modernization and globalization of China's financial market.
Reuters also asking a question about global leadership. Obviously, China really emerging on the world stage and how that might differ. What did he have to say about that?
This was interesting, too, whether China will replace the U.S., for example, as a global policeman, even though it's adding a lot of more troops to permanent peacekeeping efforts in Africa. That's really not China's philosophy, as many of us that follow China know. President Xi telling Reuters, quote, China has been stepping up efforts for world peace and development, not because it wants to become a, quote, world cop, even less to take anyone's place. China follows the principle of non-interference. Mike.
How about the similarities and the differences? I mean, we know he's going to be speaking to Parliament. He did not speak to the House of Representatives and the Senate here in Washington. Differences there.
Well, I mean, we certainly didn't hear anybody in the United States say that they wanted to be China's best partner in the West, which has already been said by UK officials. No shuttle diplomacy on contentious issues like cybersecurity in advance of the visit. No threats to cancel the visit. We did see China buy a record number of Boeing airplanes in the United States, but most deals were cooperation agreements. In the UK, we're expecting, as Jack said, to actually see some real tangible investment. We've already got Huawei, which has done very poorly in the United States in terms of getting these big federal contracts. They've got a contract to do a 4G network, and it's already underway, and millions of people are using their network.
Well, we'll definitely keep our eye on all of this in the next few days. Thanks so much, Jessica. Really appreciate it.